All right, you see this picture here. This is my nephew, Chris. The reason I'm putting that up there is he was right and I was wrong. He told me all year long. Now, I wouldn't say this, but he was like, Dallas sucks. He's a Giant fan. He cannot stand the Cowboys. I don't care about the Cowboys one way or the other. It's like they suck. Dak sucks. He's like, this guy's terrible. They're always going to choke. No, I said, no. Dak is playing at MVP level. They're playing a lot better. The defense has been great. They look like they got the break of all breaks. They got the 2 seed. They honored Jimmy Johnson. Maybe they took the curse off when they honored him. So wow, is this the year? I believe they're going to beat Green Bay. I told you Green Bay was going to give them trouble. I didn't know he was going to do this, but I said I get past Green Bay. Green Bay's too young. Their average age is 24. Green Bay, which is showing they got a really bright future. And also, it felt like destiny. Detroit, they did win. I'll get into that. So Detroit comes to Dallas. Dallas will beat them. They've seen Detroit, so they'll be headed for Frisco, and San Francisco will. It'll be a closer game. They'll play them a lot tougher. I'm thinking all these scenarios, and I think Dallas played like they were looking ahead too, because they had some of the pundits on TV saying, well, "This is our year," And I was like, listen. I love my nephew Chris, but this is my show. I'm a podcaster. This is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I'm telling you the truth that the Cowboys are better than you think. I'm the guy. I'm the podcaster. You're the nephew. Okay, you're right and I'm wrong, and this is what I'm gonna do. And sports has a way of humbling you. And Dallas got destroyed. And the reason I put my nephew up there is they lost 48-32, and I'll break it down in a minute. He called. Oh, I called him, and I wanted to be a man about it, and I apologized. I was wrong, and I should have. I said I should have listened to you because they played cowardly. I called the Eagles a bunch of cowards, but I got to be fair. And this is Tell the Truth Radio. I got to tell the truth. And they were bad, and he was right. Everything he said, I don't think they suck. Like, he said that, but I mean, everything he said that they would lose every year, and they do this every year. This is the truth. So I let him have his moment on the phone. And if you're a Cowboy fan, you're his friend, you're going to catch it for about a week. But anyway, Green Bay, what they did, like everybody, all the pundits saying, thoroughly outcoached it, because the first touchdown drive, Aaron Jones, who destroyed them. Aaron Jones, my gosh. He went to complete work. My goodness. I mean, they ran what it's almost like an old Washington Redskin from the 80s counter trade. They ran a zone blocking scheme to the left. They have one lineman pulling right. So they're opening up an automatic hole. Aaron Jones could go to the outside on the opposite side where Dallas flowed the wrong way, or Dallas could recover, and there's an automatic little crevice that's a hole I believe on a B gap, and he ran through that all night long. And a couple times he ran through the middle, but he ran and ran. He had 118 yards, 21 attempts, 3 TDs. He was amazing. They go up 27-0 because Devontae Wicks, who played really good too, had a great game. And after interception, a great interception, wasn't Dak's fault. Dak didn't play good, but the second one was ridiculous. Where Brandon Aubrey, he threw it right to him because he jumped the inside route that CeeDee Lamb was running, and he never looked him off, and he threw a pick. And then Dallas tried to come back, but they didn't because they could never stop Aaron Jones, and they could never, ever stop Jordan Love, who every time he'd run the play action, there was a guy wide open, or on third down, even during a rush, Love would throw it off his back foot. And Dallas played zone, which they always play man, and he was beating the zone constantly with his plethora of young receivers. Romeo Dubs was fantastic. He had 6 receptions, 151 yards and a TD, and they just destroyed the Cowboys. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. Their defense got shredded. I'm surprised. I mean, do you miss Diggs that bad? Because you had one of the best ranked defenses in the NFL, and that's all you showed? Are you kidding me? Man, it's just, and they got punked, and it was cowardly. I called the Eagles a bunch of cowards because of the 5 game stretch, the way they played. But what Dallas did was cowardly because they got pushed around. They were home, and they were supposed to be the better team. And you have Lawrence and Parsons didn't do nothing. They ran at Parsons. They doubled him a few times, and they ran at him, and they ran the ball so much. I saw Parsons have a pass rushing lane, but hesitated just a little bit. Then he got to the quarterback, and Love threw the ball right as he's hitting him, but he hesitated and completed a long pass down the. It seemed like they were completing 15, 18-yard passes all night long. And then the last one was just to Musgrave, where he's wide open off of a play action. But where's the safety at? Where's Curse? Curse got there too late. It was just ridiculous. And then now, and I thought McCarthy did a good coaching job. He's been what, 11-5, 11-5, 12-5, 5 losses both years. I mean, it's been fun. I thought he did a good, but he had a bad day, and boy, they they were so good, and I just it almost leaves you speechless how bad Green Bay beat Dallas. And I knew Green Bay was playing good. I say, you know what, Green Bay is going to give Dallas some trouble. It was a one matchup that I thought, this is going to be a problem for the Cowboys, but I felt like Dak was going to make enough plays and outplay Love, and Quinn was going to defend, make great defensive plays, and get it done. But Adam Stefanovich just had the perfect game plan. Now, I don't know if it's going to do that against the Niners. It's a different monkey. It's going to be a little harder to run. Jones going to get popped. And it's not going to be a flea throwing offense because of the terrific linebackers the 49ers have. But Green Bay is coming in with a ton of confidence, nothing to lose, and a ton of momentum. I think if the one thing about the Niners and the Ravens, with all this cold and with all this, a couple of injuries here and there, Zaire got hurt for Packers. The Ravens and the Niners have a huge advantage because they get rest and they're going to be fresh coming into those games. And that's going to be huge. Best game of the night was Lions and Rams. That was a great game. Both teams are up and down the field. The Lions scored and the Rams came down and got a field goal. And this is the key to the game. This is the key why the Lions won. Red zone. They were able to get a couple of more points in the red zone, a touchdown here, but the Rams and the Lions have been good in the red zone. They kind of bent and didn't break, and Rams were kicking field goals, and Stafford was great, and Goff was great. Both players were really good. Stafford had a 121 rating, 25 of 36, 365 yards and 2 TDs. And Goff, he had 1 TD, but he was 20 of 27. He's 121.8 QBR, and he was good. And now both teams are up and down the field, and it was 21-17 at the half, but then both defenses got stout. And the Lions defense got a little better. They put some more pressure on Stafford. He didn't get sacks, but they were a little more better on the run. They're one of the best run-stopping defenses in the league. Now, Williams was going off in the first half. Second half, he got hurt, and Rivers couldn't run like that. But the Rams play it. Akua is a superstar. Nakua is a superstar. And the biggest play of the game was a missed pass by Matthew Stafford down the field for an easy touchdown for Kupp. It was one of the mistakes he made. And that's That was big. That's a touchdown. At the very least, this would have went to overtime. But in the end, when Detroit had to have that stop, 3rd and 4, that holding penalty was costly when they had the ball at the Detroit 34-yard line. Because look, if you it's an incomplete pass, it's a long field goal, but at least you have a chance to take the lead and put pressure with because the Rams used their two timeouts. So now the Lions would have been 4-7. The Lions would have had to go down the field and win the game, which I was hoping that Stafford would do something that Goff, and then Stafford, then Goff would come down. And I said Goff was going to have the game-winning drive. He just had the game-clinching drive where they just ran the clock out. But Goff was great. Grateful to see Detroit. They get another home game. We'll see about the Philadelphia-Tampa results. I'll have that at the end of the show. But I tell you, what was important too was having Jamar Gibbs run the ball. Montgomery was really, really good. But Sam Laporta back. I thought he was going to be out. He had a big touchdown play. And they scored those 3 touchdowns in red zone. And the Rams only had 2. And that was big. And that was the difference. 24-23 was a very, 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 very big difference. But the Rams got a future. Cooper Kupp and Nakua, with the way that Williams runs the ball, and Matthew Stafford still got it, and their defense is young, so he'll add pieces if they can keep Raheem Moore somehow at defensive coordinator, and McVay can dial up some plays. I watched the motion they ran. They're always in motion. The receivers, the running backs, the tight. There's always things you have to think of when you're a defense. I love the Rams, but it's not their time yet. It's the time for the Lions. They've developed all those draft picks they did get for Stafford. It was a good win for the city. So it's on to the next round at home. So it's going to be even louder at home. And they could get to the finals. Would it be a rematch of 1957, San Francisco versus Detroit? We shall see. Well, the Chiefs beat the frigid Dolphins. I mean, the weather was rough for the Lion game. They were in the dome, but for this Bills Steelers game coming up, and this game was just the coldest games in history in Kansas City. And I mean, I see the stats 20 of 39, 199 yards, kind of pedestrian. And he had 63.9, kind of high schoolish QBR. And he was freezing. That's what he looked like. And Mahomes is Mahomes. He's used to the weather, and this is championship season. They don't care. It could have been minus 50. They went out there trying to throw touchdowns. But they took a quick 10-0 lead, and it should have been 14 because Travis Kelce's dropping balls. He had a good game, but he dropped the ball, and Miami scored the one time they caught Tyreek Hill open, and Spags closed that up. His cornerbacks were great. Their run defense was insane. Their run defense, Mostert and HN ran into brick walls. But the hero of the game was Rashid Rice. He had 8 receptions, 130 yards. And every time Mahomes needed a play, Rashid Rice made it happen. There's a couple of Hartman made a big 3rd down catch, but Pacheco ran the ball wild. Hilaire gave you a little bit, but Pacheco, like I say, he ran angry at 89 important yards because they were balanced. And then, but they beat up. It should have been like 42-7 the way they dominated Miami. Because Miami they ran the ball. It seemed like McDaniels couldn't figure out Spagnuolo, so he ran the ball, just saying, listen, I'm just going to run the ball because I can't get this ball to my playmakers and play fast break football like I want. And he's blitzing them. He's sending them confusing packages. I mean, and you got a double team. Chris Jones he really played great. and Bolton played great. McDuffie was fantastic. I'm gonna tell you the most underrated guy is Karloftis, George Karloftis, who is who is tough to go along with Jones in your pass rushing. That is because he had a sack and a half. That is big time. Snead covered Hill. He covered Waddle and McDuffie covered. They covered to go along, and now their safeties are sometimes they'll blitz, but you don't know where the blitz is coming from. Spags was dialing it up, and that's how the defense is really, really good. They're gonna need it wherever they're gonna go. But the one thing about the Chiefs, they better tighten this up. Whether they go to Baltimore, Buffalo on the road, they better tighten this up. Not Baltimore. I mean, whether they're going to whether they're home, if Pittsburgh wins, or against Texas, or on the road against Buffalo, they gotta get more efficient in red zone. They're kicking field goals because of a dumb block in the back penalty that stopped the touchdown, a couple of drops by Kelsey, uh, just plays I didn't like in the red zone. Got too cute. They gotta tighten that out, or they're going home in the next round. So, but they were sharp defensively, and I just believe they will. I believe in this combination of, and again, Kelsey, I believe is going to catch the ball. I believe in the Kelsey, Mahomes, Andy Reid kind of combination, Pacheco. I do believe that they're going to be a tough out because they're a champ. The Bills took care of business, beating the Steelers 31-17. The Steelers fought after getting down 21 nothing. The Bills were up and down the field. The Steelers missed a tackle as Josh Allen had a 52-yard touchdown run. He threw the ball to his two tight ends, which are spectacular, and Kincaid and Knox. And then the Steelers made a comeback after a block kick, and then they got within 7, and the guy have it go up 14 in the fourth quarter drive. The Bills did, and they moved it down the field, um, and did what they had to do and scored that final touchdown, and then they were able to hold on. The key to this game was the fact that Cook was able to run up the middle, and Josh didn't have to go crazy. He had 79 yards rushing, and Allen ran for 74. So that's kind of their formula for them to beat Kansas City, is to do that. But the Chiefs defense is really good. They were really good against the run. This is the game that everybody. I mean, I'm sad my team lost, but the the one reward, okay, my team lost, but the one reward I get to see Kansas City in Buffalo, and they're gonna play again. Josh Allen and Mahomes again. Mahomes got him twice in his building. He gets Mahomes and his building. But what I believe is that the Chiefs can't settle for field goals and drop passes in Buffalo, and they're going to have to tackle Josh Allen, and they're going to have to, like, Gabe Davis comes alive against the Chiefs, and they got to deal with those tight ends. And the Buffalo's in championship mode. That they really, ever since when they lost to the Eagles, that was kind of a victory for Buffalo and a loss for the Eagles. They exposed the Eagles more than the Niners did. That's when the Eagles were on a tailspin right after that. And Buffalo played good, and it gave them the confidence to go all the way through and win all their games, destroy the Cowboys, um, and just play well. And it was a feisty Steeler team. One thing, the Bills have injuries, but they cannot lose their two safeties, because Hoyer and Micah Hyde are fantastic, and they're going to need them. They're going to have to pick off, maybe get Mahomes guessing once, which is not easy. But what the Bills have to do, Josh Allen can't get reckless. They can't turn the ball over, and you know how the Chiefs are because they're a champ, and they're going to fight. They're going to fight to hold on to this championship. They're going to defend this championship, even if they're a little flawed and they kicked too many field goals last week. The defense played like a Super Bowl type defense, and I'm looking forward to Snead and Diggs again. Another rematch of that great matchup. But Gabe Davis always shows up. But that's going to be a great matchup. And then congratulations to the Houston Texans. They're going to go to Baltimore. Stroud was fantastic. Stroud is he just it's the offense. You know what the offense looks? The offense is seamless. That's how good the offense looks. It's a seamless offense, and it was 24-14 is back and forth, but Houston had a big, long screen pass to Jordan for a touchdown, gave him a two-score lead. And then Flacco threw the pick six, and that was it. And then he threw another one, that was it. But this is all about Stroud and how good he was, how smooth he looks in the pocket. He throws the ball downfield, 157 QBR, 274 yards, three TDs. He was good. Singletary gave him good running. Now, they were beat up against the Ravens the last time, but I think they're going to give the Ravens a game. The one thing, like I said, the Ravens and the Niners have been resting, but I think they give the Niners a game. I don't know if Houston's defense travels on the road to be able to stop all that entails in that offense that the Ravens have with the way they run the ball, with the way uh, Jackson runs the ball. You can go to Beckham. Uh, you could go to Zay. So and they're home and they're rested. But Houston's going to give them a game. So I'm looking forward to those are two really, really good matchups. Cowardly Eagles went out again in a whimper, 32-9 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, and Baker Mayfield, I don't like him, but he has had a good year. And he was in rhythm. And I did like how he played today. 22 or 36, 337, and three TDs. He was fantastic. They jumped down the Eagles, and the Eagles did try to get going because they were dead. They were just feeling sorry. They were feeling sorry for themselves. So once they were down 10-0. They did make it a game at 19-6. The tush push got smashed in their face. So you just was a lot of bad issues. They didn't have Brown in there. They didn't run the ball. They couldn't run the ball because Tampa played a defense where they were loaded up against a run. Now, Devontae Smith got open a couple of times, but the other receivers are not good without A.J. Brown. So they just said, listen, let's make sure let's surround Goddard. And they did that. And let's make sure Smith doesn't go too crazy. And let's blitz the heck out of him. They blitz Hurts, and Hurts looked at the rush and ran out of the pocket and couldn't find nobody because he's not really good at throwing on the run, especially on his left side. Then sometimes if he rushes to the right, he might get a decent throw off or he'll try to run. And the Buccaneers knew that. So he was limited. If he sits in the pocket and goes deep like he did to Smith, he's pretty good. But they weren't doing that. They took him right out of the pocket. And a lot of the really great quarterbacks in this way this league is and the way defenses want to send pass rushes, they want mobile quarterbacks that can throw either side. I watched Jordan Love get rushed. He runs to his left side. He throws. He makes a nice 12-yard completion to his tight end, moves the chain. He runs out of the pocket. He's backpedaling backwards, makes a great throw to his receiver. They move the chains. Burrow could do it. Mahomes always does it. Josh Allen can do it because he has the arm strength. He has the ability to accurately find receivers when he's on the run. And that makes it hard. Your third down, you put all your heart into stopping a play, and you can't. And that's important. But the key to this game was in the second half where they kept pinning the Eagles back. When the Eagles defense kind of got bowed up a little bit, they pinned the Eagles back. They pinned the Eagles back. Then they finally got a safety. And then the Eagles get the ball and do nothing. And then finally, the backbreaker was the Mayfield to Trey Palmer. It was a nice pass, 56-yard touchdown. They're breaking tag. The Eagles haven't tackled in 3 months. And then after that, they just quit and they won 32. to 9. I don't know if the Eagles have prepared the Buccaneers for what they're going to see the following week, because you're going to go from cowards to Dan Campbell's hard-nosed, rough-riding dogs. So they're going to have to completely prepare to go on the road to a place that's going to be loud. But I give them credit. If they get beat up by the Lions, which I do think, I give them credit for getting out and doing what they're supposed to. And Baker Mayfield has found himself. He's just hard. Sometimes he can be a bit much when the going gets good, but he's kind of been quiet this year, so I give him his credit. He's been good. He's been quiet and he's been good. And now they're going to move on. I don't like their chance against Detroit, but you got Levante David, you got those linebackers, you got Vita Vea, who just blows up running games. He's a good passer. He's the best, and he's one of the best, if not the best, interior lineman. He was a big part of that Super Bowl win when they won in 2020, and he's going to be a pain in the neck on the road in Detroit. So I give them a chance, but whew, I did see things I didn't like. There was a couple times Baker Mayfield had happy feet, and the Eagles got to him, and they were able to get him off the field. That doesn't work against Detroit. So he would have to clean that up. But they're going to move on. But I'm going to finish this show just talking about the Eagles. They were cowards. And head's probably going to roll because you quit. Players bickered. You switched coordinators in a panic move. And there was dissension. And they didn't try. They were giving up first downs on broken tackle after broken tackle. Nobody knew their assignment. You let Baker Mayfield, who's pretty good, look great. You got blown out by the Giants. You got beat by the Cardinals. Cardinals didn't punt. You need that game at home, and the Cardinals didn't punt. I mean, you would have got blown out by the Packers anyway if you would have won the division. But it's going to be some good games because the Packers, if they're going to play at that level, they're good. They'll give the Niners a game. It'll be a close game. They're going to have to play at that level and even better to compete with the Niners. This is a different matchup. And the Buccaneers and Lions, that's a nice little matchup on Sunday to start it off. Chiefs and Buffalo. You got to end the week with that. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good game because Allen has gotten Mahomes. Allen has gotten Mahomes in the regular season. Mahomes got him in the postseason. So let's see what happens.